And under my leadership, we ended asylum fraud. We ended all catch and release. We stopped third world migration. We suspended all refugee resettlement except for persecuted South Africans. They're being persecuted.
The US President Donald Trump prides himself for cancelling all application for migration to the US by African asylum seekers, except the what he calls persecuted white South Africans. He claims that South Africans are being genocided by fellow African natives, and it is the duty of the US to ensure their application for asylum are processed fast so that they can seek refuge in the safe country of the US.
And under my leadership, we ended asylum fraud. We ended all catch and release. We stopped third world migration. We suspended all refugee resettlement except for persecuted South Africans. They're being persecuted. In South Africa, there's a very horrible thing going on in South Africa. It's a genocide. It's a horrible thing. And we made it possible for these people to come into our country. They kill people if they're white, if you're a white person. And I'll tell you what, I did great with the black vote, the African-American vote, and they understand this better than anybody. South Africa, they kill white farmers. And we said, you come into our country and we let you come in. You get a green card and you get a passport. You can stay in our country.
The indifference between Donald Trump and South Africa emanates from South Africa's stand on many African and global issues. The most prominent one being its stand on Palestinian issues. South Africa is at the forefront of leading the ICC case against Israel for genocide in Gaza at the ICC, a case that US had urged South Africa to drop, even recalling its ambassador to force the hand of South Africa. That did not work. We have also seen the case where South Africa is supporting the Russian war in Ukraine, whereas the US has been on the side of the Ukrainians, which is the stand of NATO. And this indifference has gone to the extent where in the recent visit of President of Brazil, Lula da Silva, he urged the South Africans to improve their military capabilities to prevent any external aggression. Again, we see the US is particularly concerned with the exploits of EFF leader Julius Malema, so much that the last visit of US South African President, the US Cyril Ramaphosa, was focused on white genocide that was propelled supposedly by Julius Malema. And even President Trump lambasted Ramaphosa for failing to call for the arrest of Julius Malema. And even people are arguing that the recent case where Julius Malema was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment by Magistrate Toinette Olivier on a case of firing a gun into the air could have been part of settling scores with him, considering the offense he had committed did not amount or warrant such a stiff punishment. But in the meantime, Ramaphosa is out on jail, and is out on bond, but still Trump has not relented in attacking him.
But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying, kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly. That man is going all over South Africa, and that's not a small party. That was a stadium that holds 100,000 people, and I hardly saw an empty seat. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of representation. And those crosses, we have dead white people, dead white farmers.
Some other people might argue that Trump mostly is concerned with the African leadership of South Africa. He feels that considering the country has significant white population, Trump, with his imperialistic tendencies and white supremacy and fascist tendencies, believe that a country which has white people who are successful should not be led by Africans. He fails to understand that South Africa is a native African country with black majority, and it is right for them to lead their own country. And as long as the minorities are allowed to conduct their affairs in a peaceful manner, there is no need for forcing the voters to vote for white people. Trump also does not take into consideration the plight of immigrants in the US and the treatment of minorities in the country. He maintains his supremacist tendencies and only believes that white people should dwell in the US, and hence his tough stance on migration from the global south, especially in Africa, to limit the increase of African Americans in the US. That is all. Kindly like and subscribe this channel.